What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is George and I make health and fitness content here on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you get any value from this video, and be sure to check out the other videos in this video series, the GC Fit program. I released a free workout program. It's like a bodybuilding weightlifting program for beginners to intermediates, and it's downloadable in the link in the description below, as well as a link to the other videos that are out along with the program as well. So be sure to subscribe and like the video and comment down below your feedback. I'd really appreciate that. But this is a push day video as part of the GC Fit program, and I'm gonna walk you through all the exercises in this program just like the previous videos. So if you've been staying tuned to those, then you can expect exactly the same from this video. Now, push day targets the chest, triceps, and the shoulders. So we're gonna work out all three of those muscle groups today. We're gonna do 3 exercises for each of those, and I'll walk you through that, guys, right now. So let's go ahead to the gym and we'll start the workout. Just before we head to the gym though, I wanna show you guys quickly what I'm gonna be sipping on during my workout. I have 20 ounces of water here, and I'm gonna be taking a scoop and a half of these Raw Nutrition EAAs. This is the Island Slushy flavor, very delicious. And Raw Nutrition is a great company that I have an affiliation with as an ambassador. Just a full disclaimer. Now, being an ambassador, that does mean I have a discount code. So if you guys wanna get any Raw Nutrition supplements for yourselves, you can go ahead and do that. Use code GMC10 at checkout, and you can save yourself 10% off at checkout off your entire order, every order in the future. It's not just a one-time use code. You can use it as much as you want, and it would also support me as well. So I would really appreciate it if you guys are looking to get some supplements and want to support me and get yourself some Raw Nutrition supplements. I'd really appreciate it. So I'm gonna mix this up and we'll get over to the gym now. All right, so hopping into this workout, we are gonna start off with some warm-ups. We're gonna start with some rotator cuff warm-ups here with some shoulder warm-ups. Now, it's really important to make sure that you do warm up the shoulders and rotator cuffs properly, because your shoulder is a very complicated and intricate joint. You know, it can move in like a 360-degree radius, and that means there's a lot going on in there. And it is extremely common, more common than not, that people will face a shoulder injury at some point, and a lot of that is due to not warming up properly, not taking the time, neglecting the importance of rotator cuff and shoulder warm-ups, because it's very easy to just hop into the gym and want to start right away, like hop on the bench press immediately and just start pushing heavy weight, but that is where a lot of injuries occur. And just to minimize any chances of that, I really condone just taking that extra 5 to 10 minutes to properly warm up. That goes for any muscle group, not just shoulders, but specifically, guys, if there's one muscle group or one joint that I could tell you that it's the most important for, it is certainly the shoulders. So please keep that in mind and take the time. This is a great stretch here too, just to open up the pecs a little bit, get a nice big stretch in the pec and the shoulder, and just get nice and primed for the workout. So I like to implement a set of pec deck flies here on the pec deck machine just before hopping into the first movement. Just really gets a further big stretch in the chest and the shoulders, and just gets us nice and warmed up and primed again for the workout. Now, moving into the first exercise of the workout, we are going to do the classic bench press here. As far as hand positioning goes, I like to put my pinky finger on the inside ring of the knurling. You'll see 2 rings there. I like to put my pinky on the inside ring. It just is the perfect hand positioning for my structure personally. You might have to play around with that a little bit and see what works best for you, but you don't want to be too narrow and you don't want to be too wide. So just play around with it and find what works best for you. As far as your body on the bench, you want to make sure your head, upper back, and butt are firmly planted on the seat, as well as your feet. You want them firmly planted into the ground to give you what's called leg drive. And you want to keep your lower back arched. You can see sort of a space in my lower back there. There's a nice arch there. That just ensures that we have the proper form. And also keep the chest up nice and high. That'll help you to keep that arch in your lower back. That's going to give you the perfect form for this exercise. I definitely recommend watching like a further breakdown video from a power lifter or something like that, someone that really specializes in this movement, because there's honestly, it takes years to develop like proper form on the bench press. And if for whatever reason you're just not vibing with barbells, or you have like an injury maybe and your wrist just doesn't feel good in that position, then go ahead and throw in some dumbbell flat bench like you see here. It does require a bit more stabilization. You can kind of see my body just swaying a bit on the bench there, because when you are doing a bit heavier weight, like relative for me, this is like a little bit heavy, then you will see a little bit of movement, and that's just because this movement does require a lot more stabilization. I'm going to go ahead and load up 135 on the bar, which is going to be my working set for this session here. And I'm only going to go into it once I feel confident and ready after the warm-up set. Never do anything unless you feel fully confident and fully prepped and ready to go. If you feel any hesitation whatsoever, just take more time to warm up or focus on form, or do a bit of research, look up a video. Don't just lift something because it's in your program or you have to do it or whatever. Only do something if you feel fully confident and fully comfortable doing it. Now, if you guys are lifting above and beyond your normal working set weight, like doing a heavy top set of like a 1 rep max or a 3 to 5 rep max, something like that, then I would highly recommend using some wrist wraps. I'm using the Pump Chasers wrist wraps here. Wrist wraps just really take the pressure off of the joint, similar to like a knee sleeve or an elbow sleeve or a belt. They just really help take pressure off the joint and allow you to have a bit more longevity, because if you have less pressure on your joints, then you can lift for longer, and it also gives you great stability and honestly just makes you feel stronger in the lift itself. So it's definitely a little bit of a cheat code. I definitely recommend getting some wrist wraps if you are going to be doing some heavier weight or getting into powerlifting especially. You will need all that kind of equipment. Alright, so the second exercise we're going to do in the workout today is the incline dumbbell chest press. And just a quick side note here, these mirrors are very half natty at Gym 41. You can see my face there. I'm like low-key surprised at how good the mirrors make you look. But anyway, we're going to be doing some dumbbell work because I think it's a good idea to mix in dumbbells with barbells. If you do just barbell work, you might create some imbalances because you're doing everything with 2 hands at once, and your stronger hand is going to take over that movement. So it's good to make sure you do things where the weight is equal in both hands separately, like the dumbbells here. And we do want to target the upper chest specifically because that is a part of the chest that a lot of people lack. And just a quick side note as well, you can do an incline chest press machine if all the dumbbells are taken, but I do recommend specifically doing dumbbell work as well as barbells. Moving on to the third exercise, we are going to do the pec deck machine, or you can do cable crossovers as well. But this is just another great exercise that will target specifically the pecs. And I feel like it does get a little bit of front delts as well, front shoulders, but it is primarily for the chest. The key with this, in my opinion, is to get a nice squeeze at the top, or when your hands are close together. Make sure that you do like a nice pause there. Don't just bounce the weight off the top, or when your hands are spread apart. Don't bounce it, just make sure that you're nice, slow, and controlled the entire time. You don't have to be going like 5-second negatives that slow, but just make sure that it's controlled. You want to control every single movement and make sure that everything is very intentional. You're not just moving weight, but we are trying to go for that contraction. Fourth exercise is going to be dips. Now this is going to be starting to merge into triceps territory, but it is still targeting the chest, and that's why I think it's the perfect exercise to blend chest transitioning over to triceps, because it does hit both. And if you do need to, you can use the support pad if you're not able to do bodyweight dips for the rep range, which is 12 reps, then you can do supported dips as well. Moving on to the fifth movement, but second exercise specifically for triceps, we're going to be doing the dumbbell skull crushers. Now these are an overhead movement, which is great for the triceps and developing the thickness of the tricep. And it's just, again, another angle of attack. We did sort of a pushing movement from below in the dips, and now we're doing an overhead movement, which will just cover all of our bases, make sure we're hitting the tricep from different angles, which is key. Just like any other movement in bodybuilding, we are going nice, slow, and controlled. We're not just throwing the weights around, but we're actually being intentional, and we're doing a nice pause at the top and bottom of the movement. And yeah, that's the name of the game, guys, when it comes to bodybuilding, when it comes to putting on muscle mass. You want to make sure that you're intentional, you want to make sure that you're controlled, and you're having time under tension. And moving on to the final exercise for triceps here, we're going to be doing some rope or cable pushdowns here. I really like to flare out on the rope if I'm using the rope attachment, just to really target that outside head of the tricep that you can see in this shot here, sort of that horseshoe looking shape in the tricep. This is what the ropes really target specifically, especially when you flare out. Now you can do like a bar push down. You can use a bar attachment and do tricep push downs like that as well, but I feel that the flare in the rope just really allows you to get more contraction on the outside head, and that's something that I actually learned from Hani Rambod, Chris Bumstead's coach and like 20-something time Olympia winning coach. He really recommended doing a nice big flare as wide as you can go on the rope push down. Now moving on to shoulders, guys, this is going to be the first exercise that specifically targets the shoulders, and this is the Arnold press. Now this is a very classic movement that I feel like is often overlooked in this day and age. It just gives you a really nice full contraction in the shoulder because you are starting from a supinated grip, moving up to a pronated grip at the top of the movement. Supinated means palm facing your face, and pronated means palm facing outwards. If dumbbells are all taken, or for whatever reason this is aggravating your shoulder, then you can do like a shoulder press machine, and I would go with a neutral grip on the press if it has it, but definitely try to do these if you can, even if you have to go really lightweight. This will give you a really great contraction in the shoulder. It's such a dynamic movement. You are starting from supinated to pronated and back to supinated all in one motion. Now moving on to the second shoulder exercise, we're going to do some seated lateral raises. You can do these standing as well, but I like to do them seated just to take all of the back and momentum out of it. You're just fully isolating the shoulders, and this is targeting the side of the delts, which is actually what gives you that capped look, sort of that really round and bolder look to the shoulders. It's definitely, I think, the most important when it comes to shoulders. If I had to pick one shoulder movement, it would be these for sure, either seated or standing. But like I said, I like seated because it just isolates them a little bit better. Now moving on to the last shoulder exercise, and actually the last exercise of this workout today, is going to be the reverse pec deck flies or rear delt flies. You can do this on the same machine that we did our pec deck flies earlier. Just adjust the handles, or you can do some bent over rear delt flies like you see in the B-roll in the bottom corner there. Either will work just fine, but if you're new to the gym, then I definitely recommend doing these on the reverse pec deck machine, just because they're a little bit more foolproof as far as the form goes. And yeah, they just get a really nice, great contraction in the rear delts. And rear delts is something that's often overlooked by a lot of people, but it's very important to giving your shoulders a very three-dimensional shape.
Well, that's going to do it for the push day video, guys. Thank you so much for staying tuned, especially if you are still watching to this point. I really appreciate the support. Be sure to like the video, comment down below some feedback, give the program a shot. It's free to download in the description below, and you can find the links to the other videos there as well. So thank you so much. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time.